Hello everyone, how are we all feeling after that result against Arsenal on Sunday? Still licking our wounds, of course, but I think looking at the game in general, there were some positives, there were some negatives. There's definitely some talking points about other things going outside of football, but we'll save them for the breaking news shows. I just specifically today want to talk about the game individually, what was good about it and what was bad. So I think it's probably best to kick things off with a negative. We'll end on a high. I think that's probably the best way to go about it. So, of course, it's another away defeat for Erik ten Hag. His record against the top 9 away from home isn't great at all. I don't think he's ever beat a top 9 side away from home, from what I've looked at. And the last time we did beat a side from the top 9 was Spurs, when we beat them 3-0 in 2021 when Ollie was still in charge, and that is bad. Erik ten Hag gets a lot of praise, and it's not all on Erik ten Hag. You know, I think even in the game on Sunday, tactically got it. I thought things were fine. You know, if Garnacho scores that goal, we go on and win it. No one's even speaking about any tactics whatsoever. We bring on a couple of donkeys at the back, things go tits up, and we lose the game. But tactically, he can get things spot on. So I think it's more of like a kind of mental block. It's flaky players, similar players that have been at this club. Rashford can go missing sometimes. Bruno Fernandes can go missing sometimes. The centre-backs that came on can go missing. Like, there are players in that team who have these kind of traits in the big games. We saw it last year when we played Liverpool at Anfield, when we played Man City at the Etihad, and Villa as well. There was a lot of games where you're like, there is something going on there. There's some form of mental block. I don't know what it is, but it's there. And we can't handle the pressure, and that needs to be sorted out immediately. I mentioned 2 donkeys before. Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans ain't it. They ain't it. It was like bringing on a smart price bog roll to stop a flood or to stop a leak. They looked leggy, they looked slow. Declan Rice, his goal was a prime example of what not to do when you're defending. They're kind of hesitating. Just go out, hit your man. Lissandro would have done that. He would have rushed out, blocked the shot, goes out for a corner, maybe you hold on to a draw, maybe you go get a win, who knows. But then conceding that goal, we're pushing for it then, they go up the other end and end up scoring the third, and it just turns into an absolute disaster. And when you're talking about backing the manager, we've spoken about, yes, maybe he's got some of the transfers in that he wanted, his targets, Onana, Mason Mount, etc. But they didn't back him in letting certain players go, selling certain players at the club who shouldn't be there. Harry Maguire should have gone. We should have had a young, either a Todibo in, who can grow into that role because Rafael Varane has his injuries, or we should have got our main target anyway, who we was looking at for an absolute bargain price in Kim Min-jae, who's going to be a stellar centre-back for Bayern Munich. He should be in the door, so we would have no worries if Kim Min-jae was alongside Lisandro Martinez there, or vice versa, whoever it is you want to throw into the mix. Them two would be perfect together. And we didn't get our prime target because we're struck for cash, effectively. Another topic I wanted to discuss was Christian Eriksen. I thought his assist for Marcus Rashford on Sunday, was really, really good. The weight of the pass, perfect. We know what he offers in that department. But then you look at Martin Odegaard's goal, he completely loses his man. He's got Lisandro Martinez behind him. When the phase of play's happening, Lisandro's screaming at him saying, Christian, pick up your man, pick up your man. Oblivious to it. By the time he realises Odegaard's got shitloads of space, he puts it in the bottom corner, and within like 36 seconds, they get a goal back. They're back into the game. If you stay switched on and you have that defensive awareness around you, like someone like an Amrabat would, you stay solid and you keep hold of that 1-0 win, and maybe you go get another whilst Arsenal pushing a bit more. Like, the dynamics of the game completely change. But we know Christian Eriksen has that side to his game. He's not the best defensive player, he's not the best physically, but on the ball he can offer some qualities. Sticking with the midfield, this is again, I'm still with the negatives by the way, I've not even got onto the positives yet. Bruno Fernandes goes missing in the big away games. Facts. Another performance yesterday where you're looking at him, you want him to grab the game by the scruff of the neck, you're the captain of Manchester United, and what he's actually doing is lying on the floor moaning about a certain decision that wasn't even a foul. That's all I saw from Bruno Fernandes yesterday, honestly. I don't back for 1 second that he's not committed to the cause and he doesn't give his all for Manchester United. I fully believe that. I see it on the pitch, I see it in training, the footage and stuff. But out of 4 games so far, he's had 1 decent game. That's it. 1 decent game. To be considered amongst the best, to be talked about in the same breath as like the Kevin De Bruyne's, which kills me to say, but these kind of guys, you have to do it at a consistent level. You have to show. And yes, look, his stats may say that he is, but I'm watching him with the eye test on the pitch, and he's not doing enough for me. He's too erratic at times as well. And that falls in with the wingers as well. The wingers need to be more clinical in front of goal, need to make better decisions. And there was a decision where Rashford could have squared it to Højlund, and he just, like we always say on this channel, he just had that kind of tunnel vision where he's not looking at anybody else. He's like, I need to get a goal, I need to get a shot off. Højlund's sprinting his back out to get into the 18-yard box, finally gets there, and then Rashford's like, goes into a blind alley, don't know what to do, cuts back, and then we lose out on that attacking phase then, and Arsenal get numbers back. Equally with Antony, he gets himself into a really good position, either cuts back or loses possession. So it's the same. We have very selfish wingers, very, very selfish. I want to see some cohesion, some combinational play between them instead of thinking, you know, trying to play your own game and get goals and assists for yourself. Because let's be honest, their output's shocking anyway. Rashford's only got one goal now. So in 4 games, Antony's not got a goal or an assist. And neither's our other attackers. And that leads to Anthony Martial. Don't even get me started on Martial. I don't see what he offered in the team yesterday at all. On our rating system, we give him not applicable because it seemed like he was doing the light walk. Or, you know them, like mothers, like 40-odd years old, they like to go on the kind of fast walks around a greenery area, and they've got weights in their hands and do that. That's the pace that he was running at. It was like a light jog to school. His heat map must look like a piece of bread with mould on it. Little green spots, that's it. I actually had a look at his heat map. It's basically just like little dots everywhere. It's shocking, absolutely shocking. At least last season, I know he wasn't available a lot, but when he was available, at least he got a goal and assist, and his actual conversion rate wasn't too bad. On Sunday, I'm just looking at him thinking, he's doing nothing. He's just like a body there. You know, Weghorst looked more effective at times. So they're the things we need to work on. They're the negatives that I've kicked things off with. Martial, wingers, Bruno Fernandes, Christian Eriksen off the ball worries, Maguire and Evans, and another away defeat. They were the negatives coming out of that. However, the performance itself wasn't too bad, and that starts off with a goalkeeper. Andre Onana is a belter of an upgrade on David De Gea at playing out from the back. He creates an extra man in midfield almost, helps with our first phase build-up tremendously, and the Arsenal players didn't know who to press. They didn't want to press us. So that gave us a kind of like element of control and calmness at the back. I saw Peter Schmeichel said he should have saved Declan Rice's goal. That I mentioned it before. That goal should have been prevented in the first place. That should have never happened. But then it takes a deflection as well, and he's got to react to it in the bottom corner. I think that's really harsh to say that he should have saved that. And the save he made against Saka, when it was a tap-in for Saka, and he's like done like the cricket save, which De Gea ironically used to do, but where he saved it with his shin or his knee. Fantastic save, but no one even mentioned that. So, I don't know. Onana, I know he conceded 3 goals, but I thought he was really, really good yesterday. The best players on the pitch for me personally was the wing-backs. I thought the wing-backs were excellent. Diego Dalot and Wan-Bissaka managed to keep 2 of the best wingers in the Premier League in Saka and Martinelli quiet for the full 90 minutes, which is very, very hard to do. Not even let him create one opportunity. Dalot looks like a better left-back for some bizarre reason than he does right-back. I would continue that experiment and bring Reguilon in, I don't know, the cup games or whatever. I know it's a bit risky because if a right-back goes out, or let's say both of them get injured in the game or whatever, which stranger things have happened, who are you going to play at right back then? You haven't got anyone. Or Lindelof, which, no. Let's not play Lindelof at right back. But them two look fantastic yesterday, and if they're playing like that against Saka and Martinelli, I'd be confident going up against anyone. I was having a look at the metrics yesterday. Wan-Bissaka, 9 clearances, 1 interception, 5 tackles, 73 touches, 2 out of 2 long balls, 6 out of 7 ground duels, and 2 out of 2 aerial duels. That is a monstrous defensive display against one of the best wingers in the league. Fantastic. Diego Dalot equally, well not equally, but 8 clearances, 2 interceptions, 1 tackle, 2 out of 4 ground duels, 2 out of 3 aerial duels. Both of them done really, really well. So that's a positive to take out of it. The midfield, as an item, let's say, not individuals, because I spoke about Bruno and Eriksen not having the best games in certain elements, but it was, when you compare it to the Tottenham game and the Wolves game, even the Forest game, the midfield was much more compact. Individually looking at them games, remember Sarabia and Matheus Cunha were just exploiting that space that Casemiro had around him. The Tottenham game, Pape Sarr and Basuma were outnumbering Casemiro, and Maddison was picking up them little spots of areas and doing those. And then even the Forest game, the way we started was just all over the place. It was like our tactical approach looked like our transfer approach, just scattergun, like everything's everywhere. And these intelligent players pick up these spaces and take it to their advantage. So I thought yesterday we were much more compact, more together as a team and defending as a unit. And that's where the wingers came into it as well, because they was doing the defensive work. Again, criticising for their output going forward, decision making, but Anti's defensive work yesterday, there were so many times where he made some really, really important recoveries in the box at clinical times. And Marcus Rashford doubling up on Saka as well with Diego Dalot really helped out there. So in terms of defensive work and shape, that's an element better, but obviously output is something we need to discuss. Rasmus Højlund had a fantastic cameo, looked really, really promising. Some nice flicks in there, which you expect from him if you've watched footage of him at Atlanta. He likes that combinational play. He has got that flick in his locker, which set up Garnacho's goal, which unfortunately was offside. But I mentioned it before about Rashford not squaring it. It's a tap in there for Højlund. He needs to play it across. But the way he was bullying Gabriel, I think it was, he was, strong boy, big lad, he's quick as fuck. On that transition, he's a monster. Like, he looks really, really promising. We just need our wingers to be less selfish and start supplying, because if they don't, what's the point of him being there? I think sometimes you might see Bruno Fernandes move out onto the right wing to get them crosses in for Højlund, because Ante doesn't cross the ball, and Rashford rarely crosses the ball, even though he's more than capable of it. But Højlund's willing to play, willing to run in behind, definitely brings a new dynamic to our team, so let's get him up to speed and bagging goals as soon as possible. Another addition who's going to come into this team after the international break is Sofyan Amrabat. I think once Amrabat comes into this team and partners up with Casemiro, will be much more robust, especially in them tough European fixtures. That game yesterday was crying out for someone like an Amrabat, someone who's a ball winner, someone who can play at the same time, is really good on the ball, like technically, someone who's an engine for the full 90 minutes and will stay on top of that opposition and never give them respite. That is someone who'd be perfect next to Casemiro. Who plays ahead of them? Take your pick, mate, because at a minute, Bruno Fernandes ain't doing it for me. Mason Mount's out for a couple of weeks, so I don't know. There's food for thought there with team selection, especially when we get back. We look at the results as a whole. We've got 2 wins and 2 losses. Is that right? Yeah, beat Wolves, lost to Spurs, beat Forest, lost to Arsenal. So it's 1-1-1-1. 2 wins, 2 losses. The exact same how we started last season. Plus, we've got many injuries across the board. Varane, Shaw, Malacia, McTominay. You've got the issue with Jadon Sancho ongoing. You've got something that's coming up with Ante at the minute, which legally there's stuff going on. So it's a little bit worrying, to be honest. What's even more worrying is we've got Brighton on our first game back, who just blasted Newcastle at the Amex Arena. At the Amex Stadium, sorry. Is it called the Amex Stadium? I feel like it is. But yeah, we've got Brighton when we get back. So we're going to find ourselves fighting for top 5 and no trophy if we don't book up our ideas really, really soon. The one reason why I'm optimistic is because of the players that are coming in. I think Højlund, once he gets a run of games, will be fantastic. Same with Amrabat. And then when we get the players back from injury, our best team, Onana, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Lissandro, Dalot, Casemiro, Amrabat, Bruno, and then Antony or Mount or whoever who's taking that spot, Højlund and Rashford. That's not a bad team, is it? But they all need to play together. They all need to start working together. Some of these players aren't even, been like Amrabat's been isolated for a long time. Højlund's been recovering from an injury. Mount's out injured now for a few weeks. Varane's out injured for a few weeks. So we're not really going to have our strongest team playing a number of games together for, I don't know, maybe another 6 weeks. So that's something to worry about. But look, thanks to United on Sunday, we've now got to stay for the international break for 2 weeks with a loss in our minds, and we've got to watch shitty England, so it's not great, but there are some positives. It's not all doom and gloom, basically, is what I was trying to say from this video. There are some positives to take out of this, and I'm sure Eric Ten Hag will know that, but ultimately, it's a results business, and we've lost twice now in North London to Spurs and Arsenal away from home. Need to sort that away form out immediately, but let me know your thoughts on my pros and cons, if you agree with them, or is anything else you want to add. Drop it in the comment section, leave a like in the video, and please do subscribe to the channel. Take care. See you in a bit.